It's absolutely an implicit or winking incitement to violence. It's like in the gangster movies where they say, nice little pipeline you've got there, be a terrible thing if something happened to it. This is totally irresponsible on the part of David Suzuki. And let me point out a track record of outrageous comments from him that for anybody else would have had him canceled. Instead, he continues to receive multi-million-dollar contracts from the CBC. This is a guy who said that about immigration, and I quote, this is from July of 2013, quotes, "Canada is full. Our immigration policy is enough to make you sick. We pillage the countries of the South by depriving them of future professionals, and we want to increase our population. It's crazy," unquote. If somebody like Don Cherry had said that Canada is full and our immigration policy is crazy and sick, he would have been canceled by the CBC in a New York minute. But instead, the CBC gave David Suzuki millions of dollars more in compensation to work for them. This is the same guy who called for his for a political opponent, Stephen Harper, the Prime Minister, to be thrown in jail. He said in February of 2016, quotes, "I really believe that people like the former Prime Minister of Canada should be thrown in jail," quote unquote, not for corruption, but because of a policy difference. When Donald Trump called for Hillary Clinton to be thrown in jail, he was rightly mocked, ridiculed, and vilified. But what's the CBC's response? To give him even more contracts to help sustain his 4 houses in which he lives as an environmental hypocrite. I have a very long track record of standing up for responsible energy development against this kind of kookiness, and hardly anything new on my part. Nor is it anything new on David Suzuki's part. And it is sad to see so many of the Laurentian elites and others, CBC and others, rush to the defense of this guy like he's some kind of a saint. He's infallible. He cannot possibly be criticized, even though he has a track record of saying things that would result in any mere mortal going down the cancel culture black hole of history. Does CBC have a policy that it's okay to call for the imprisonment of people you disagree with in a democracy? Is that why David Suzuki continues to grace their airwaves at enormous taxpayer expense, by the way? So I'm seriously ticked off about this, and I'm still about the fact that the University of Alberta gave this guy an honorary degree. They wouldn't give anybody else with a track record. Is there anybody else who's anti-immigration that the U of A would give an honorary degree to? And now, implicitly, I believe, inciting people to political violence. Enough is enough. This guy was invited to speak to the Alberta Teachers Convention a couple of years ago. They paid him a handsome honorarium. What can he add usefully to a debate about anything when these are the kinds of views that he holds? I think it creates an opinion environment which could be seen as normalizing or providing an apology for a rationalization for violence. I think it creates a context that some people could use to rationalize violence. And that's why it's so dangerous. When Donald Trump stood in front of the White House on the 6th of January and said that you have to fight for this country or you might lose it, that was widely seen as indirect incitement to the violence that then followed in the U.S. Capitol building. How is this any different? Like I say, he's basically saying, nice little pipeline you got there would be a terrible thing if something happened to it. So he shouldn't just be out there doing interviews saying, oh, he doesn't actually support violence. He should be walking this whole thing back, apologizing and retracting without exception, because I can imagine some over-caffeinated young green radical will hear in St. David's words a rationalization of future violence.